Welcome to History Addict, where we uncover the deeper, often overlooked stories that have shaped our past. Today, we'll be exploring the remarkable journey of Black Elk, a Lakota warrior who witnessed the pivotal Battle of Little Bighorn. This isn't just a military victory. It's a story woven with spiritual insights, strategic brilliance, and the enduring strength of the Lakota people. Through Black Elk's eyes, we'll gain a deeper understanding of the spiritual and tactical elements that led to the Lakota's victory over Custer's forces. Before we begin, I'd like to ask for your support. If you find value in these in-depth explorations of history, please subscribe to History Addict and hit the notification bell. Your encouragement helps us continue bringing detailed, thoughtful content to history enthusiasts like yourself. Now, let's step back in time and uncover the secrets of this legendary battle. In the summer of 1876, the northern plains of what is now Montana bore witness to a decisive and bloody encounter that would forever alter the course of history for both the Plains tribes and the United States. The Battle of Little Bighorn, known to the Lakota people as the Battle of the Greasy Grass, was not merely a clash of arms, but a collision of worlds. A struggle between the free-roaming life of the Plains Indians and the encroaching American Empire. Among those who stood witness to this monumental moment was a young Lakota warrior named Black Elk, also known as Hakasapa. At just 13 years old, Black Elk found himself in the middle of a battle that would echo through history as the final great victory of the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho peoples before the slow march toward their defeat began. Black Elk's account is unique, not only because of his age, but because of his kinship to Crazy Horse, the legendary Oglala Lakota war leader. As his second cousin, Black Elk had both a familial connection and a front-row seat to the events surrounding the battle, offering insights that few others could provide. Crazy Horse was not only a relative, but also a guiding force for the young warrior. It was from Crazy Horse that Black Elk learned the lessons of a warrior's life, the need for bravery, the importance of protecting one's people, and the values that defined the Lakota way. Crazy Horse often spoke to Black Elk about honoring the earth and the ancestors, something that would shape the young warrior's perspective in the years to come. This connection allowed Black Elk to see the battle through the eyes of a master strategist, as Crazy Horse led his warriors with unyielding resolve. It was a bond not only of blood, but of shared vision, both of the battle and of the future of their people. The summer of 1876 was marked by rising tensions and escalating violence as the Lakota and their allies resisted the relentless encroachment of settlers and soldiers onto their lands. This conflict was deeply rooted in the U.S. government's violation of the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, which had promised the Lakota the Black Hills, a region sacred to them. However, the discovery of gold in these hills led to an influx of prospectors and, inevitably, a renewed military campaign to force the tribes onto reservations. Perhaps one of the most striking aspects of Black Elk's life was his deep connection to the spiritual world, a gift that manifested early. Even before the Battle of Little Bighorn, Black Elk experienced powerful visions that foretold not only the events of the battle, but also the future of his people. In one of these visions, Black Elk saw a great tree, the Tree of Life of the Lakota people. This tree was strong and full of life, but as the vision progressed, he saw the branches begin to wither and die. This disturbing image foreshadowed the difficult times ahead for his people, despite the victory they would soon achieve. The young warrior saw the battle not only as a fight for survival, but also as part of a larger struggle that would define the future of the Lakota. His visions gave him a sense of responsibility and foreboding, even as he prepared to defend his people. Black Elk believed that the thunder beings, spiritual entities controlling lightning and storms, were guiding the Lakota in times of war. He felt their presence on the battlefield, giving him a sense of power and protection. In the days leading up to the battle, the Lakota were deeply aware of the signs around them. Sitting Bull, the revered spiritual leader of the Hunkpapa Lakota, had a powerful vision during the Sundance ceremony just weeks before the battle. In his vision, he saw U.S. soldiers falling from the sky, their bodies tumbling like rain, a symbolic message that foretold a great victory for his people. For Black Elk and the other Lakota warriors, these visions and signs were seen as divine guidance from the Great Spirit and their ancestors, signaling that their struggle was just and that they would prevail. The movement of animals and changes in the sky were also carefully observed, as they believed nature was sending them messages about the battle to come. Before the battle, Black Elk took part in a sacred healing ceremony led by the medicine man, Harry Chin. This ceremony, known as the Bear Ceremony, was held to heal a wounded warrior, Rattling Hawk. Black Elk and several other boys participated by symbolically taking on the strength and power of bears, a sacred animal in Lakota culture. Their bodies were painted, and they were given ceremonial roles in the healing ritual, meant to invoke the spiritual power of the bear for protection and courage. During the ceremony, Black Elk recalled the earlier vision that had filled him with dread. He felt as if he were lifted off the ground, aware of the spiritual forces at work around him. These moments of spiritual preparation reinforced the deep connection the Lakota had with the natural world and their ancestors. The bear ceremony was more than just a tradition. It was a vital part of their cultural resilience, as the warriors prepared to face what seemed like insurmountable odds. On the day of the battle, nature played a crucial role in shaping the conflict. The sweltering heat and thick dust made it difficult for Custer's soldiers, who were unfamiliar with the land, to maneuver. The bright sun blinded the soldiers, and the swirling dust from the horses' hooves created a cloud that made it impossible for them to see the warriors approaching. For the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, this land was their home. They knew every gully, hill, and riverbank, and used this knowledge to their advantage. The Greasy Grass River, flowing strong from the snowmelt in the mountains, provided the Lakota with a place to conceal themselves and plan their attacks. As the dust choked the advancing soldiers, the warriors struck with precision. For Custer's men, the land was a barrier, but for the Lakota, it was an ally, one that they had lived with and revered for generations. When the battle began, Black Elk, like many Lakota warriors, believed that the spirits of their ancestors were present with them. The Lakota held a strong belief that their ancestors watched over them, especially in times of great need. As Black Elk charged into battle, he felt their presence guiding him, filling him with courage and strength. The battlefield was not just a place of physical confrontation, it was a spiritual space where the past and present converged. The Lakota warriors didn't just fight with weapons, they fought with the spirit of their people, past and present, standing behind them. This deep spiritual belief gave Black Elk a sense of invincibility. The thunder beings and the spirits of ancestors seemed to watch over them, giving the Lakota the courage to face the U.S. forces head-on. On the battlefield, Crazy Horse's leadership was crucial. His knowledge of the land, his tactical brilliance, and his ability to inspire his warriors turned the tide of the battle. The Cheyenne and Arapaho warriors, fighting alongside the Lakota, brought their own strategic expertise. The Cheyenne, known for their swift and fierce horse-mounted attacks, created confusion among Custer's men, while the Arapaho used their knowledge of guerrilla warfare to attack from hidden positions. Crazy Horse expertly used the landscape to his advantage, leading his warriors in swift, strategic movements, using the hills, riverbanks, and dust of the plains to confuse and overwhelm the soldiers. As Black Elk witnessed the battle unfold, he saw how Crazy Horse's guidance, along with the coordination of the allied tribes, helped gain the upper hand. The combined forces of the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho cut off Custer's men, surrounding them and leaving them with no chance of retreat. The Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho were not only powerful warriors, they were strategic thinkers. For them, warfare wasn't just about brute strength, it was about knowing when to strike and how to use the land to their advantage. Black Elk saw firsthand how the warriors didn't simply rely on physical force, but used their knowledge of the terrain and their deep connection to nature to outwit their opponents. The Lakota, having mastered guerrilla warfare, moved fluidly through the dust and hills, striking at key moments and retreating just as quickly, leaving the soldiers disoriented and vulnerable. Despite the overwhelming victory, Black Elk experienced a mix of emotions in the aftermath of the battle. While the triumph over Custer's forces brought pride, it also came with the somber reality of loss. The battlefield was a place of pain and loss, not just for the soldiers who fought against them, but also for the Lakota and their allies. Black Elk saw the impact of the conflict on both sides, and the sense of victory was tempered by the understanding that this battle, though won, was part of a larger struggle that was far from over. For Black Elk, the Battle of Little Bighorn was a pivotal moment in his life, but it also marked the beginning of the end for the free-roaming way of life the Lakota had known. The victory came with a heavy price, and Black Elk began to grapple with the emotional toll of the violence and loss he had witnessed. He felt the triumph, but was haunted by the consequences of war, realizing that the real battle for their future had only just begun. While the warriors fought on the front lines, Lakota women played a critical role in supporting the tribe. After the battle, they tended to the wounded, provided food, and performed the sacred rituals of healing and thanksgiving. These ceremonies were essential to the spiritual well-being of the warriors and the tribe. The women sang songs of victory, offering thanks to the ancestors and the spirits for protecting their people during the battle. Their contributions were vital, not just in maintaining morale, but in ensuring that the spiritual balance of the community was restored after the chaos of the battlefield. The role of Lakota women is often overlooked, but their presence and efforts were critical to the survival and strength of the tribe. In the years following the battle, Black Elk's role in his community shifted. No longer just a young warrior, he became a respected spiritual leader and healer for his people. The experiences he had during the Battle of Little Bighorn, combined with his earlier visions, shaped his understanding of his role within the Lakota. As the Lakota were forced onto reservations and their traditional way of life eroded, Black Elk became a guide, offering spiritual insight and healing during these difficult times. Black Elk's transformation from warrior to spiritual leader reflected the broader challenges facing the Lakota people. His journey was not just one of personal growth, but of collective survival as his people faced the consequences of losing their land and autonomy. He carried forward the traditions of his ancestors, ensuring that the spiritual legacy of his people endured despite the challenges of the modern world. After the battle, Black Elk, like many young warriors, collected mementos from the battlefield. These objects served as reminders of the victory and the struggle they had endured. Black Elk kept a shiny gold watch he had taken from a fallen soldier, wearing it around his neck for years. To him, it was not just a symbol of triumph, but a token of the clash between two worlds, the ancient spiritual world of the Lakota and the modern industrialized world that was rapidly encroaching upon their land. The Battle of Little Bighorn, though a great victory for the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, was also a symbol of the beginning of the end for their way of life. Despite the triumph on the battlefield, the U.S. government soon responded with even greater force. By 1877, Crazy Horse was captured and later killed under controversial circumstances. The Plains tribes, once proud and free, were forced onto reservations. Even so, the spiritual and cultural legacy of Little Bighorn endures. For the Lakota, the battle remains a source of pride, a reminder of the bravery and unity of their ancestors. It is a story passed down through generations, a testament to the strength of a people who fought to preserve their land, their culture, and their freedom. Black Elk's account offers a window into this legacy, revealing not just the events of the battle, but the spiritual depth that underpinned it. As Black Elk reflected on the battle in his later years, he often spoke of the thunder beings who had guided them to victory, even as he recognized that the forces of history were against them. His story is a reminder that history is not just a series of events, but a tapestry of lives, beliefs, and struggles, woven together by the actions and sacrifices of those who came before. Through Black Elk's eyes, the Battle of Little Bighorn is not just a military conflict, but a journey of spiritual awakening, guided by visions, ancestors, and cultural strength. His first-hand account reveals the depth of the Lakota's connection to their land and each other, and how their beliefs shaped their approach to both life and conflict. The victory at Little Bighorn may have been short-lived, but the spirit of the Lakota lives on. Black Elk's story reminds us that history is not just about battles won or lost, but about the people who fought for their way of life, their beliefs, and their future.